Good morning, everyone. It's a true pleasure to stand before you today. And I want to begin by thanking each of you for being here. Whether you're joining this conversation in person or from the fact it speaks volumes about your commitment to growth and self-awareness. Today we're diving into a topic that touches all of us, whether we admit it or not, a topic that often lurks in the shadows of our thoughts and behaviors: insecurity. A sign of insecurity is more than just a phrase. It's an invitation to explore the underlying feelings that shape our actions, our relationships, and our sense of self. But insecurity is something we all experience at some point, but it's how we address it that defines our growth. Together, let's take a closer look at the signs of insecurity, what they mean, and how we can transform them from obstacles into stepping stones for personal development. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling empowered and ready to face any insecurities with strength and confidence. Let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and growth together. Insecurity is a silent force that resides within many of us, shaping our actions, words, and decisions in ways we often fail to recognize. It whispers doubts into our ears and builds invisible walls around our potential, convincing us that we're not enough, never smart enough, attractive enough, talented enough, or deserving enough. Well, what if I told you that insecurity, while powerful, is not insurmountable? What if I told you that within that same insecurity lies the opportunity for growth, for transformation, and for true greatness? To understand insecurity, we must first acknowledge it for what it is: a sign of our humanity. Every person, no matter how confident they appear, has moments of doubt. Insecurity doesn't discriminate. It visits the successful and the struggling alike. The difference lies not in its presence, but in how we choose to respond to it. When we let insecurity dictate our lives, it holds us hostage. When we confront it, challenge it, and learn from it, we take back control. Insecurity often stems from comparison. We look at others and see what they have, what they've achieved, and how they're perceived. And we measure ourselves against their highlight reels. Social media amplifies this, offering a curated version of life that makes others seem flawless while we remain acutely aware of our own imperfections. But comparison is a thief. It steals our joy, our confidence, and our focus. When we compare ourselves to others, we forget the most important truth: no one else has lived your life, walked your path, and faced your challenges. Your journey is unique, and it is unfair to measure it against someone else's. Our insecurity also thrives on fear, the rejection, or inadequacy. These fears are natural, but they become changed when we let them hold us back. We hesitate to take risks or pursue opportunities because we're afraid of what might happen if we don't succeed. Here's the thing about fear: it only has as much power as we give it. Every successful person you admire has felt fear, yet they move forward anyway. They understood that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of it. Each stumble, each setback is a lesson that brings you closer to your goals. One of the most common manifestations of insecurity is the need for validation. We seek approval from others to feel worthy, adjusting our actions, words, and even dreams to fit their expectations. But living for validation is a losing game. People's opinions are fleeting and ever-changing. If your sense of worth is tied to external approval, you'll find yourself on an endless, exhausting chase. True confidence comes from within, from knowing your value and standing firm in it, regardless of what others think. Insecurity often masquerades as arrogance, criticism, or defensive. Have you ever met someone who constantly puts others' dollars Spain, or it's about the prise genre, boasts about their achievements? Beneath that facade and deep insecurity, a fear of being seen as less than. Recognizing this can help us respond with empathy rather than judgment. And if you see these signs in yourself, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself why you feel the need to project that image. The first step to overcoming insecurity is acknowledging it. Pretending it doesn't exist only gives it more power. To conquer insecurity, you must embrace self-awareness. Take a hard, honest look at yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, and your dreams. This isn't an exercise in self-criticism, but in self-understanding. When you know yourself deeply, insecurity loses its foothold. You begin to see your worth not as a reflection of others' opinions, but as an inherent truth. Another antidote to insecurity is gratitude. When you focus on what you have, your opportunities and blessings, you shift your perspective. Gratitude silences the voice of insecurity because it reminds you that you are enough just as you are. It doesn't mean you stop striving for growth, but you do so from a place of contentment, not lack. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Insecurity often thrives in toxic environments, places where you feel judged, belittled, or unsupported. Seek relationships that are built on mutual respect, encouragement, and authenticity. At the same time, learn to be your own biggest cheerleader. No one's voice should carry more weight in your life than your life. Take action, even when insecurity tries to paralyze you. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build through action. But start small if you must, but start. Each step forward, no matter how small, chips away at insecurity's grip. Celebrate your progress and let each victory fuel your momentum. I remember that insecurity doesn't define you, it's simply a part of your story. And like any good story, it has the potential for a powerful transformation. You are not your doubts or fears, you are the person who has the strength to face them, the courage to challenge them, and the resilience to overcome them. The journey to overcoming insecurity is not a straight path. There will be days when it feels like you made no progress, when doubt creeps back in, threatens to undo all you built. But those moments are not the end, they are a reminder of how far you've come and how much further you can go. Embrace the process and trust that each step is bringing you closer to the person you were meant to be. Insecurity is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of being human. It's a call to action, an invitation to grow. I don't let it hold you back. Use it as fuel to rise, to reach, and to thrive. You have everything you need within you to overcome it. The question is not whether you'll feel insecure, it's what you'll do when you do. And I believe with every fiber of my being that you'll rise to the challenge. Insecurity is universal. Insecurity is something that every human being experiences regardless of their background, achievements, or confidence level. It doesn't matter how successful someone appears on the outside, beneath the surface, they've likely faced moments of doubt, questioning their abilities, worth, or potential. This is because insecurity is deeply tied to our nature as social beings. We seek connection, acceptance, and significance, which often leads to questioning whether we measure up to the expectations of others or our own. It's important to understand that insecurity isn't just exclusive to those who are struggling or uncertain in life. Even those at the peak of their careers or in the spotlight face their own challenges. Insecurity can manifest in various ways, from fear of failure to reluctance in embracing new opportunities. The difference lies in how individuals address it. While some may work to confront their insecurities, others may try to mask them, creating a false sense of confidence or control. One of the reasons insecurity is universal is that it arises from shared human experiences, such as fear, rejection, and comparison. Everyone at some point has faced moments where they faced them inadequate or unworthy. These feelings aren't inherently negative. They can serve as reminders that growth and improvement are ongoing processes. What sets individuals apart is their ability to recognize insecurity as a natural part of life and use it as a motivator rather than a limitation. Acknowledging the universality of insecurity allows us to be more compassionate toward ourselves and others. It reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles and that these feelings don't define us. Instead of viewing insecurity as a personal flaw, we can see it as a shared experience that connects us, making room for understanding, support, and growth. By embracing this perspective, we can begin to navigate insecurity in a healthier and more empowering way. Comparison fuels insecurity. Comparison is one of the strongest drivers of insecurity because it shifts our focus from our unique journey to someone else's perceived success. When we compare ourselves to others, we often see only their best moments, the accomplishments, highlights, and victories they choose to showcase while remaining acutely aware of our struggles, doubts, and imperfections. This distorted view creates an unfair standard that makes us feel inadequate, as though we're falling short of an imaginary ideal. The habit of comparison is deeply ingrained in human nature. We look to others for reference points to gauge our progress or worth, but this can quickly become destructive. Social media has amplified this tendency, giving us constant access to carefully curated glimpses of other people's lives. The filtered images and celebratory posts can make it seem as though everyone else is thriving while we're stuck struggling. This illusion fosters a sense of lack, even when we have much to be proud of in our own lives. When we constantly measure ourselves against others, we lose sight of our individuality and the value of our personal experiences. Your talents, strengths, and achievements are uniquely yours, shaped by your path and challenges. Comparing them to someone else's stories, like comparing apples to oranges, is not a fair or meaningful assessment. Instead of focusing on what others have or do, redirect your energy toward your growth and goals. The only comparison that truly matters is who you were yesterday versus who you are today. Recognizing that comparison fuels insecurity is key to breaking free from its grip. By shifting your focus inward and appreciating your journey, you can find fulfillment and confidence in your own progress. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small, and remind yourself that someone else's success does diminish your own. When you let go of comparison, you create space for gratitude and self-acceptance, allowing your unique strength to strengths. Fear underpins insecurity. Fear is often the foundation on which insecurity is built, subtly influencing our thoughts, actions, and self-perception. It stems from the anxiety of not being enough, fear of failure, rejection, or even success. These fears can create a cycle of self-doubt that makes us question our abilities and hold back from opportunities that might lead to growth. Fear convinces us to play it safe, to avoid risks, and to stay in our comfort zones, even if doing so limits our potential. One of the most common fears that fuels insecurity is the fear of failure. This fear makes us hesitate to take chances, worrying about the possibility of falling short and how others might perceive us. It leads to overthinking and second-guessing our decisions, creating a paralysis that keeps us from moving forward. Ironically, this fear often stems from a desire to succeed, but it sabotages us by preventing the very actions needed to achieve success. The fear of failure is not just about external judgment, it's also about the internal struggle to reconcile our aspirations with our perceived limitations. Another significant fear tied to insecurity is the fear of rejection. This fear is rooted in our innate need for acceptance and belonging. When we're afraid of being judged or excluded, we may change ourselves to fit others' expectations, suppressing our authenticity. And this leads to a loss of self-confidence, as our worth becomes tied to others' opinions rather than our intrinsic value. The fear of rejection can make us overly critical of ourselves, constantly seeking approval and validation to feel secure. Overcoming the fears that underpin insecurity requires recognizing their presence and challenging them. Fear will always exist to some degree, but it doesn't have to control us. By facing our fears, we gain strength and confidence, proving to ourselves that we are capable and resilient. Each small step in confronting fear helps diminish its power, allowing us to break free from insecurity and move closer to the life we desire. Fear may be the root of insecurity, but it can also be the catalyst for growth if we choose to confront it. Seeking external validation is a trap. Relying on external validation is one of the most common ways insecurity takes hold, creating a cycle that leaves us feeling unfulfilled and dependent on others' opinions. When we seek approval from others to feel worthy or successful, we hand over control of our self-esteem. And this trap leads us to measure our value based on fluctuating external factors, making it impossible to find lasting confidence or peace. Instead of looking inward for validation, we allow others to define our worth, which can never lead to true fulfillment. The problem with seeking external validation is that it's temporary and inconsistent. People's opinions change and their judgments are often based on their own perspectives, biases, or insecurities. What earns praise from one person might receive criticism from another, leaving us caught in an endless quest to meet everyone's expectations. This pursuit can drain our energy and force us to compromise our values or authenticity as we shape ourselves to fit in the molds that were never meant for us. Living for external validation also prevents us from developing a strong sense of self. When our confidence relies on applause or recognition, it becomes fragile and dependent on external circumstances. This makes it difficult to weather criticism or setbacks, as our worth feels tied to how others perceive us. Over time, this dependence can erode our self-trust and make us hesitant to try and steamboat our true passions or take risks, fearing judgment or failure. Breaking free from the trap of seeking external validation starts with recognizing that our worth doesn't come from others, it comes from within. True confidence is built on self-acceptance and a deep understanding of our values, strengths, and purpose. And when we focus on living authentically and aligning with what truly matters to us, we stop needing external approval to feel whole. By validating ourselves, we find the freedom to grow, thrive, and pursue our dreams on our own terms. Insecurity can disguise itself. Insecurity often doesn't present itself openly. Instead, it hides behind behaviors and attitudes that can be difficult to recognize. One common disguise is arrogance or overconfidence. When someone appears overly self-assured or constantly brags about their achievements, it might be a defense mechanism masking deep feelings of inadequacy. This projection is a way to shield themselves from vulnerability, attempting to convince both others and themselves that they are strong and unshakable. Another way insecurity hides is through criticism and judgment of others. People who frequently point out flaws in others or belittle their accomplishments are often projecting their own doubts and fears. By shifting the focus outward, they temporarily divert attention from their internal struggles. However, this behavior does not address the root of their insecurity, and it often damages relationships, creating a cycle of isolation and further self-doubt. That defensiveness is another subtle manifestation of insecurity. When individuals struggle to accept constructive feedback or perceive neutral comments as personal attacks, it often stems from a fragile sense of self-worth. This defensiveness is a way to protect themselves from feelings of inadequacy, but it prevents growth and learning. Instead of acknowledging areas for improvement, they become stuck in a pattern of avoidance and resistance. Recognizing these disguises is the first step toward addressing insecurity. Whether it shows up as arrogance, criticism, or defensiveness, these behaviors are signs of deeper struggles that need to be confronted. By acknowledging and understanding these patterns, individuals can begin to address the root causes of their insecurity. This self-awareness opens the door to growth, helping them replace these harmful behaviors with confidence, empathy, and authenticity. Self-awareness is the foundation of growth. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth because it allows us to understand who we truly are, our strengths, weaknesses, values, and fears. Without this understanding, we're like ships without compasses, drifting aimlessly and reacting to life's challenge without direction. Self-awareness helps us recognize patterns in our behavior and thoughts, empowering us to make conscious choices rather than being controlled by automatic reactions or external influences. It is through this clarity that we gain the ability to grow intentionally. When we are self-aware, we can identify the root causes of our insecurities rather than just addressing their symptoms. For instance, instead of dismissing feelings of inadequacy, self-awareness encourages us to explore where they stem from, whether it's past experiences, unrealistic expectations, or external pressures. This deeper understanding allows us to confront these issues head-on, giving us the tools to overcome them rather than being held back by them. Growth becomes possible because we are no longer avoiding or denying our challenges. Self-awareness also helps us set realistic goals that align with our true desires and capabilities. Without it, we may chase ambitions that are driven by societal expectations or comparisons, only to feel unfulfilled once we achieve them. By understanding our values and passions, we can prioritize what truly matters to us and pursue growth in ways that feel authentic and meaningful. This alignment between our goals and our inner selves creates a sense of purpose and satisfaction that fuels continuous improvement. Furthermore, self-awareness fosters humility and openness, essential qualities for growth. It allows us to accept feedback without defensiveness, recognizing it as an opportunity to learn rather than a threat to our identity. It also encourages us to acknowledge our flaws without shame, seeing them as areas for improvement rather than as limitations. Through this process of reflection and acceptance, Self-awareness becomes not just a tool for understanding ourselves, but a powerful catalyst for transformation. Gratitude counters insecurity. But gratitude plays a powerful role in counteracting insecurity because it shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. Our insecurity often stems from a feeling of inadequacy, a belief that we're not enough or that something is missing in our lives. When we practice gratitude, we consciously remind ourselves of the abundance around us, whether it's our relationships, accomplishments, or simple daily blessings. This shift in focus helps to quiet the voice of self-doubt, allowing us to see the value in our lives instead of constantly comparing ourselves to others. When we make gratitude a habit, it helps us reframe negative thoughts and emotions. Instead of fixating on what we haven't achieved or what we perceive as shortcomings, we start to appreciate the progress we've made and the opportunities we've been given. This positive mindset builds confidence as it reinforces the idea that we are worthy and deserving of the good things in our lives. Gratitude strengthens our belief in ourselves by highlighting our successes and strengths, rather than allowing insecurity to take center stage. Gratitude also fosters a sense of contentment and peace, which is often missing when we are consumed by insecurity. When we are grateful, we stop chasing external validation or material possessions as a means to feel secure. We learn to be at peace with who we are and what we have, realizing that happiness doesn't come from acquiring more, but from appreciating what's already present. This inner contentment reduces the need for comparison or approval, which are often the driving forces behind insecurity. By practicing gratitude, we cultivate a mindset of abundance instead of scarcity. Insecurity often thrives on the belief that there's not enough, whether it's love, success, or opportunity. Gratitude counters this by reminding us that there is always something to be thankful for, no matter the circumstances. When we embrace this mindset, we begin to see life through a lens of possibility and growth, which helps us break free from the grip of insecurity. Through gratitude, we can transform our perspective, focusing on the richness of our experiences and the endless potential within us. Positive relationships matter. Positive relationships play a crucial role in overcoming insecurity because they provide the support and affirmation that help us feel valued and understood. When we surround ourselves with people who uplift, encourage, and believe in us, it reinforces our own sense of worth. These relationships create a safe space where we can be vulnerable, express our doubts, and receive constructive feedback without fear of judgment. In a positive relationship, we're reminded that we are not alone in our struggles and that we are worthy of love and respect. The influence of positive relationships extends beyond emotional support. They also inspire us to be better versions of ourselves. When we engage with people who are confident, kind, and focused on personal growth, their mindset becomes contagious. These relationships challenge us to overcome our own insecurities by modeling healthy behaviors, providing motivation, and offering guidance when needed. Instead of reinforcing self-doubt, they encourage us to step outside of our comfort zones and pursue our goals with confidence. A strong network of positive relationships also helps us navigate difficult times. When we're feeling uncertain or insecure, the right people can provide perspective, helping us see challenges as opportunities rather than surmountable obstacles. And they remind us of our strengths and past successes, offering reassurance when we start to doubt ourselves. In times of struggle, these relationships become a source of resilience, helping us bounce back from setbacks and continue moving forward despite our fears or insecurities. Ultimately, the quality of our relationships has a significant impact on our self-esteem and overall well-being. In environments where we feel accepted, appreciated, and supported, insecurity fades and confidence grows. Positive relationships help us build a sense of belonging and remind us that we are valuable not because of our achievements or external validation, but because of who we are. Cultivating these kinds of relationships is essential for overcoming insecurity and fostering a mindset of growth, self-acceptance, and lasting fulfillment. Action builds confidence. Taking action is one of the most powerful ways to build confidence because it directly confronts the fear and uncertainty that often fuel insecurity. When we act even in small ways, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of making progress regardless of the challenges ahead. Each step forward, no matter how minor, serves as evidence of our ability to overcome obstacles and take control of our circumstances. This experience of success, even in the face of doubt, reinforces our belief in our own strength and abilities. Action also helps break the cycle of overthinking and paralysis that often accompanies insecurity. When we're unsure of ourselves, it's easy to get caught in a loop of second guessing and fear of failure. However, the act of doing something, whether it's starting a project, making a decision, or stepping into an uncomfortable situation, provides clarity and momentum. It turns abstract fears into tangible experiences, helping us learn and grow in ways that contemplation alone cannot. Each action taken diminishes the power of doubt and brings us closer to our goals. As we take action, we also gain valuable insights into our capabilities. We begin to understand what works and what doesn't, and we learn from our mistakes along the way. This process of trial and error is vital for growth and builds resilience, as it shows us that failure isn't a sign of inadequacy, but rather a stepping stone toward improvement. With each success, no matter how small, our confidence reinforcing the idea that we can handle whatever comes our way and that we are capable of achieving more. Ultimately, action builds confidence because it creates a sense of accomplishment and momentum. Confidence is not something we are simply born with. It is earned through the effort and determination we put into our pursuits. By taking action, we transform the intangible fear of failure into a tangible experience of success. Each step, no matter how challenging, helps us develop a stronger sense of self-assurance, proving to ourselves that we have the power to create the life we desire. Insecurity doesn't define you. But insecurity is a temporary state of mind, not a permanent definition of who you are. It's important to remember that feeling insecure at times doesn't make you an insecure person overall. Just because you experience doubt or fear doesn't mean you lack worth or capability. Insecurity is something everyone faces at some point, but it doesn't dictate your value, potential, or future. It's simply a feeling, one that can be addressed and overcome with time, self-awareness, and effort. What defines you is not your moments of weakness or uncertainty, but your resilience and your willingness to keep moving forward despite them. Every time you acknowledge your insecurity and choose to act anyway, you build a stronger foundation for confidence. Insecurity may emerge, but it doesn't control you. Unlet it. It's a passing cloud in your mind that doesn't determine the course of your life or your identity unless you allow it to have that power. Your true essence is found in your actions, beliefs, and the way you respond to challenges. Insecurities may surface when you're facing new situations or stepping outside of your comfort zone, but they don't define who you are in the tune. What matters is how you rise above them, how you use them as opportunities for growth, and how you keep striving toward the person you want to become. You are more than the doubts you may feel in any given moment. Your worth is rooted in your character, your choices, and your journey. It's essential to realize that insecurity is just a part of the human experience, not the whole of who you are. Everyone has moments where they question themselves, but that doesn't mean those moments define their entire existence. You are not defined by your insecurities. You are defined by your capacity to learn, grow, and overcome. The more you embrace this truth, the more you'll see that insecurity is just a fleeting obstacle on your path, not a permanent label on your identity. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Celebrating progress instead of perfection is a powerful mindset shift that can help break the cycle of insecurity. Perfection is an unrealistic standard that sets us up for constant disappointment and self-criticism. No one can be perfect all the time, and striving for perfection often leads to frustration and burnout. Instead of focusing on achieving an idealized version of success, it's more empowering to recognize and celebrate the steps we take, no matter how small, toward our goals. Each step forward represents growth, and that growth is something worth honoring. Progress is measurable and achievable. It's the consistent effort and the gradual improvements we make over time that truly matter. By celebrating these small victories, we build momentum, which encourages further action and fosters confidence. When we focus on progress, we acknowledge the work we've put in and the distance we've covered. This not only boosts our self-esteem, but also reminds us that success isn't about being flawless, it's about evolving and moving forward step by step. On the other hand, perfection is a moving target. No matter how much effort we put in, there's always something more to improve or refine. This makes perfection an impossible goal, leading to feelings of inadequacy and frustration. When we shift our focus from perfection to progress, we free ourselves from the unrealistic expectations that hold us back. We can find joy in the journey rather than being consumed and being to get everything right. This shift brings peace and satisfaction, even in moments of imperfection. Celebrating progress helps us develop resilience as we learn to appreciate the process rather than just the outcome. It teaches us to embrace challenges as part of growth and to see setbacks as temporary rather than permanent. When we value progress, we acknowledge our efforts and build a positive relationship with ourselves. This in turn strengthens our confidence and encourages us to keep moving forward, knowing that progress, no matter how imperfect, is a perfect, powerful, and worthy achievement. Insecurity is a catalyst for growth. Insecurity, while often viewed negatively, can serve as a powerful catalyst for growth if we approach it with the right mindset. When we feel insecure, it's often a sign that we are stepping outside of our comfort zone, confronting challenges, or striving for something greater. In those moments of discomfort, insecurity forces us to face our fears and weaknesses, encouraging us to push beyond what we thought was possible. Instead of allowing it to paralyze us, we can use insecurity as fuel to drive us towards self-improvement. And the discomfort that insecurity brings is not a signal of failure, but rather an opportunity to learn. It prompts introspection, encouraging us to question why we feel the way we do and what we can do to overcome those feelings. Through this self-examination, we gain a deeper understanding of our strengths and areas for growth. Each time we confront insecurity, we learn more about ourselves, refining our skills, expanding our knowledge, and strengthening our resilience. This process of self-discovery is essential for personal development and progress. Insecurity also pushes us to take action, even when we're unsure of the outcome. It's in the face of insecurity that we often make our boldest moves, whether that's trying something new, taking a risk, or asking for help. These actions, although born from a place of fear or uncertainty, open doors to new opportunities and experiences. By taking action despite our insecurities, we build courage and prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling challenges, no matter how intimidating they may seem at first. Over time, the more we experience and overcome insecurity, the less power it holds over us. Each instance becomes a stepping stone, contributing to a larger journey of growth and transformation. Insecurity is not an enemy to be defeated, but rather signposts guiding us toward areas of our lives that need attention, improvement, and exploration. When we embrace insecurity as a catalyst for growth, we begin to see it not as a barrier, but as an essential part of our development and necessary challenge that ultimately makes us a stronger, wiser, and more confident. In conclusion, insecurity is not something that defines us, but rather a challenge that can catalyze our growth if we choose to face it with courage and self-awareness. It's a natural part of the human experience, and rather than allowing it to hold us back, we can use it as an opportunity to learn, improve, and evolve. By focusing on progress over perfection, celebrating every small step forward, and relying on positive relationships and self-reflection, we can transform insecurity from a source of self-doubt into a powerful motivator for change. As we take action, shift our mindset, and embrace our imperfections, we discover that it's not something to fear but something that empowers us to become the best version of ourselves. The key is recognizing that we are worthy and capable no matter where we stand today, and that every moment of insecurity is simply a chance to grow stronger and more resilient on our journey. Thank you for taking the time to engage with this message. I hope the insights shared have resonated with you and provided you with a sense of encouragement and empowerment. Remember, growth is a journey, and every step forward, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. Take what you've learned and use it to fuel your confidence. Embrace your challenges and keep striving toward the person you're becoming. Goodbye for now, and may your day filled with continued strength, self-discovery, and limitless possibilities. Stay focused, stay positive, and keep moving forward.